Hello and welcome back to the season finale of Lives, Thrives and Mental Health Dives. We've got some very highly requested, very famous, very annoying guests tonight. Shout out to the Finch twins.
Oh, wow. You're using one of our 2008 lines that brought us together.
We need to tell the backstory of that.
We do.
Just as a, go on, give your trigger warning. We've just been
the
talking
trigger
about
warning
this.
is we all sound the same to those people who are not viewing us on YouTube.
Yeah.
So people will get confused between who is who, I think.
Yeah.
We're all very expressive, using our hands. Probably going to remove the microphones from our mouths.
And we talk over each other as well.
All the time. And
We
we're all
don't-
really obnoxious and annoying.
We don't have social cues.
No, we don't.
So, maybe we should... It's weird, isn't it? I feel like maybe if one of us wants to talk and no one's letting in.
We should have had one of those objects. You can only talk if you're holding the thing.
Yeah, maybe we should hand up.
Yeah.
If someone really wants to make a point today, hand up.
Right.
Should we do that?
And no one tune out.
Oh, right.
Sorry, that's what I was doing there. Tuning out.
Yeah. Sorry, so just for context to this, something that me and particularly Lauren despise is when somebody's taking the time, mainly us, to tell a detailed account of a story and people either lose interest halfway through and start a different conversation. That's one way that you can tune out. Or the second one is when they've tuned out and then they try to tune back in.
No. This happened to
And then they
Lauren
go,
actually.
what is it?
Lauren, this happened to Lauren the other day with our friends. I can't even remember what
It was
scenario was
Jade,
it in.
right? It was Jade and Katie at the play centre, and I was trying to tell a story. And you know
What was it about?
I can't remember. It doesn't really matter. But you could tell that, like, in between me talking, they were kind of like looking at each other and kind of blah, 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 blah. And honestly, it triggers me that much.
So then I interrupt. We're going, they don't care, Lauren.
And
They're not listening, Lauren.
And they should care.
No, it triggers me that much that I actually am rude about it. And I'm like, anyway, it doesn't really matter because you're not listening anyway. And then they notice and then they start, no, we are. And I was like, no.
They were,
no. And then I refused to tell the story.
Right.
So that's how
But who never lets you down? Hun?
You. And actually, when I realised...
I stick up for you, Lauren, when that happens to you. Hence me going, they're not listening.
I go,
That's not
I'm
sticking
here
up.
with you, Lauren.
Well, it was, I
I'm
was still listening. And I knew the
do you know what?
story.
It really makes me, even whoever I'm speaking to around a table, if I can tell that other people are tuning out, I really make a conscious effort of not tuning out. And I'm like...
I do.
I'm
I
listening,
tune in.
I'm listening. And if the conversation naturally fades away because everybody else is tuning
You're
out
there.
apart from me, I actually say... Carry on with what you're saying because I hate
listening.
it when it happens to me.
Yeah.
Hate it.
Right.
So yeah,
Moving
there we are.
on.
Moving
So,
on.
Before we start this, I just want to give some context of what today's episode is going to be about.
Because we don't even know.
No, we
yeah,
don't.
you
We don't
too.
even know.
I've not prepped you, have I?
No.
Well, first thing, we're going to do some myth busting.
Okay.
Because I feel like things have been said over our origin story.
Sorry, myth busting about ourselves or in like...
Both.
Okay.
Oh, right. Fab.
Sorry, Cooks is back. We all know Cooks by now. So yeah, we're going to do some myth busting.
Okay.
Then we've got some questions that people have sent in.
Okay.
That I'm going to be asking you on the spot.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
And then just a bit of jargon, a bit of shit talking about
A bit of us.
perpetually dieting,
Oh, God.
our exes.
Our 20s, our 30s, our
30s.
teens.
Oh my
Our
God, yeah.
teens.
Our origin story is actually really, really gorgeous, isn't it?
It is, yes.
We met before Liquid 90p.
So
This was back in the day, though, when people were like, I've got a friend and I want to go out tonight. So should me, you and this random friend that you've never met before go out tonight?
Yeah.
And then that would happen weekly.
So out we went in our rah-rah skirts and see-through
who
tops.
were we with?
Smelly.
Daniela. Yeah.
Daniela, shout out.
Yeah.
So we all went to this Liquid night and the drinks were 90p. That wouldn't happen now because Cosy lives.
They were 80p.
And the
once upon a
rest.
time.
Yeah, I remember. And do you remember we were all absolutely fuming when Dave Brown, aka the owner of Liquid, put them up by 10p and we were like, I can't believe that drinks are now
wasn't
90p.
that was the night of shout out to the Finch twins.
No, that was in Rio's.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
It was in Liquid originally, and then it carried on within Rio's.
Oh, I thought it
Luke
was-
Scar,
Yeah,
shout
shout
out.
out to the Finch twins was when a DJ.
Luke Scar, who was actually
No,
mine and
I
Lauren.
got it. What, is he a DJ? Was he
He
a DJ?
was at the time. He was mine and Lauren's boss, actually, when we used to work at a nightclub in Blackburn. We've had loads of jobs, a plethora of jobs.
Plethora. But
Yes.
yeah, he used to spot you on the D floor,
Yeah.
didn't he? And then
Shout
you
out
get
to the Finch twins.
over the mic.
Yeah.
Big shout out to the Finch twins.
Oi,
and we'd all
oi.
go, woo!
Don't tell anyone we're still 16.
Yeah.
That's it. So,
But
yeah.
anyway, this night in El Quidios, as me and Lauren. liquid.
Elquidios.
Me and Lauren have been the resident of every single nightclub around here, I think.
We have.
So we went through a
Even
stage
now.
of liquid. Yeah,
Yeah.
even now. I've been to Rio's for the last 3 weekends. I'm 32. But whatever.
Yeah.
Christmas.
Even
It's
before
Christmas.
that random night where we got thrust together by the universe,
Yeah.
I knew of you two because even though you're famous now, you were still famous back in the day.
Can we stop?
Yes,
By
definitely.
famous, do you mean that we
Popular
probably...
at school.
Oh, is that what you're saying?
No, I was going to say,
I said it with
I was gonna
air
s-
quotes.
I was going to say had a bad rep for no reason. 'Cause we were,
No, it's because we were twins. And
Yeah.
if one of us had done something or said something, it was like, oh,
it was double
those
the whammy.
C-word Finch twins.
Yeah.
Say it.
no,
Go
can't say
on.
that
Yeah, they'll-
word.
No, they'll
Something
block it
that
out.
rhymes with Bunty Finch twins.
Yeah.
No, you can say it because it'll be blocked out. As we
Will
know.
it? Yeah.
hope
The Finch twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we got not a bad name, but like if one of us did something, it was easy to blame
It
me and
was.
Lauren. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God,
Right.
those girls are gossips. Oh, the twins.
Yeah.
So that's why.
So you'd heard of us
you'd heard
anyway.
I'd
heard of
I don't
you.
think I'd heard of you.
No, I
Weird.
don't either.
I know.
Strange that, isn't it?
Strange.
Because now
'Cause
you're,
now
a,
look at
you're
us.
a massive part of my life. So
Yeah. Words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Soulmates and words of affirmation. But
Yes.
yeah, so our origin story. So many moons ago, we went to El Quidios.
Yeah.
I met my ex-boyfriend there.
Yeah.
That
You
night.
two had left your phones at home so you didn't text your ex-boyfriends probably.
Yeah, probably. It's something we did.
Something that you used to and wrote it in your diaries.
Yes.
Yeah, because
Correct.
this is something else you need to know about the Finch twins. Everything that's ever happened to them is in a diary somewhere.
Not in most recent years
No.
because my life is boring.
Yeah.
I actually read one. I said to Lauren the other day, I started one in COVID. Like, this is going to be so interesting. I entered 2 things. Like, oh my God, the whole country's locked down. I started to go cross-eyed. I think I need glasses.
And you did.
Subsequently, she did.
Yeah, exactly. But then that's as far as I got because
Yeah.
what else was happening in my life? I feel like, you know, the early 20s was a time
Yeah.
of a diaries. We'll publish them
No,
one
are
day.
you joking? Early 20s. Mine were
late
literally
teens and early 20s.
Mine was
Lauren.
continuous from being 13 to I'd say probably 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as we know, hon, all of our exes were the one.
Oh,
We'd have
God.
married them all.
I would
Yeah.
have married every single one of them.
I'd have
Yeah,
married
still be
all
with
of
them
them
now.
Yeah, I'd be with all of them now.
Yeah.
If they listen to this and slide back in, who knows? I might get back with them. What?
Right.
Oh, sorry, I forget that I'm married.
We're
I'm happily married. Happily married, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Carry on.
fast forward quite a few chapters.
Yeah.
Then we got back in touch, didn't we?
We
I
did.
was finishing my PGCE.
Yeah.
You guys were home baking / working in,
When me and Ed were living in Eastbourne, yeah.
working down there. And then the stars aligned, didn't they?
Yeah.
And Finch Bakery was born. And that's where people got to know us.
Of course.
Also,
Yeah.
Sorry, I feel like
as a
you've just
three.
got that line mixed up a little bit there just because we went out to celebrate you getting your PGC, so it's not when you finished it.
No, I said we'd already reconnected.
Oh, right, okay,
But
no,
that was
sorry,
how
that was
people,
the-
how the public got to know us as friends.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Like the wider Lancashire area.
Yeah, and Michelle. Shout out, Michelle.
Right, again. Sorry, I have listened to your previous podcasts. I know that she's already been, you've name
been
dropped a
mentioned.
few
Yeah.
times.
I was gonna say,
she
name
views it
dropping.
every week.
No.
No.
We'll get her on next season.
I know. Next season, Michelle, if you're
Hint,
watching,
hint.
you can come on the podcast. Not a problem.
Yeah, so you were bumbling around,
Yeah.
finishing your PGCE line. What am I going to do for work?
Yeah,
Us.
because I thought,
are you going
I
to be a
hate
teacher? You? No. Us? That's a shame because you've just wasted the last however many years of your life doing 2 degrees, contrary to
Yeah.
popular belief.
Contrary to the online hate that
yeah.
I've received in the past, where people are like, Tessa lies about going to university. She's an uneducated oik. Me.
Yeah. No.
Random.
Could be further from the truth.
But yeah,
couldn't
so
be.
I was your first employee.
You were.
Yeah.
You were
We had
Hannah.
Hannah, e.g. work experience Hannah.
Hannah,
Who actually
was
still-
not
Hannah still
before
works
me.
Hannah still works for us. Came to the staff do on Saturday night. Took
Yeah,
a photo
Hannah.
with her, and you can see her entire thongs.
Stunning.
It was
Yeah.
stunning. She was like, edit
YK2
that.
is
She was
back
like,
in fashion.
edit that out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
YK2 Christina Dirty video is back in fashion. Where have you
It
been?
wasn't that Luke, to be honest. It wasn't.
Anyway, you came and worked for
I came
us.
and worked,
And it was...
it boomed.
It did.
Yeah.
We were
Iconic.
a dream team.
Yeah, busy. Did we ever ring in sick? Never.
I would never ring into it because I'm built like
an ox.
Yeah. We finish each other's sentences.
And
Look
also,
at that.
we're cut from the same cloth.
I feel like we're going to have to calm down, girls, because we are talking over each other already.
I know,
Yeah.
but you didn't let me finish. We're cut from the same cloth and snipped from the same silk.
We are snipped from the same
I feel like this entire episode is just going to be continuous.
But that's what the people
personal
want.
jokes.
Is it?
Yeah, but they're not going to understand what snip from the same silk means.
Yeah, they do, because
We've not made up cut from the same cloth and snipped from the same silk.
I feel like snip from the same
Snip
silk.
from the same silk.
I've not
He's
heard-
probably added
I've
later.
not heard of that one before.
But I've said it with cut from the same
This
cloth.
is what the people want. This one got the most requests on my Instagram
Did it?
for us to come on
Whoa.
and dish the dirt at the backstage of the bakery.
But do you know what? I do feel like people are going to start thinking in the first 5 minutes, like, I feel like I've listened to the full hour in the first 5 minutes. What do you think?
So maybe that's what you're going to think of yourself.
No,
But,
I think of the-
Lauren probably won't watch it or listen to it. She'll be too busy.
people will
you know.
probably be tuning out.
Yeah. I actually feel
And
like
you'll be
that's...
triggered.
I will. No, I won't, because I won't look at it or
Yeah.
read it or hear it.
Yeah.
So that's...
I will.
Yeah.
But
that's
now
it.
that years have passed, we can share some funny things that went on in the back of that bakery.
You'll have to remind me.
Hopefully we can. Because I don't want to get... we still work there, so I would
Yeah.
hate to bring anything up that might upset somebody or hurt somebody's feelings or be a legal case.
No,
Yeah.
No.
I'm talking about like
Between
the
us.
struggles that people didn't see.
Okay.
AKA, Alba was born.
Yeah.
The first 6 weeks of Alba's life, she was juggled by us in the bakery. As
6
we
months.
Yeah, and also
Yeah.
probably a hygiene query there.
Yeah.
She have a newborn baby.
I don't mean like we were putting her in the mixer with the batter. I mean
Put her in
like
the
Just
oven
lying
by
her on the
accident.
floor.
No, we were bouncing her around between us on our lunch breaks, etc.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes when people are like, those two got it handed on a plate, I think actually,
Couldn't afford nursery. Was on a
Yeah.
waiting list there, so I had to use members of staff.
That was strange. the
Yeah, it
fact
was
that-
strange that we did that. I don't.
no, but that's because like you weren't as established. Like it's easy to forget, isn't it? Like we used to work in that bakery until 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and then still sell out in 2 hours.
Ours was 3 o'clock.
Yeah. Well, that's what I
Bloody
mean. Our legs used to have varicose veins
I know.
bursting out of them.
Still do.
And then people would still have their torches and pitchforks outside. You're not doing enough for the
know.
community. And that was hard to deal with because we remember it as being like we worked our fingers to the bone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The actual bon.
Yeah.
It actually like made ourselves ill.
Yeah, we
sometimes.
did. We
But we
did.
still turned up.
Can I just say
Every
though,
day without fail.
sometimes, like last year, for example, when we opened our Blackburn shop,
Yeah.
and like me and Lauren had done that pop up in Liverpool, and then we had to go. I can't remember which order we all did it in, but I honestly went home and felt like a zombie. I was like, I feel like when I was 24 and we first opened the shop.
Because
and I was
when one of
literally
us
like,
would go on holiday for like a week or 2 weeks, and then we'd come back to try and stand on our feet for 10 to 12 hours a day, and we'd be like, I
Hell.
can't do it. You would have to sit on the steps for like 5 seconds just to
I-
rejuvenate.
I wouldn't be able to do what. Obviously, it's an age thing, I suppose, but like even having children now,
Yeah.
it's not. I don't even know how to explain it. I'm not comparing it
I
to,
would
to
say
having children,
it was
but
harder back then. But the feeling that Rachel's explaining when we were at Liverpool, for example, last year, and we literally had to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we didn't finish till 9,
Yeah.
and you would get back, eat, and literally collapse on the sofa. That is how we felt every single weekend. I mean, I know
For 4 years.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, you obviously worked way, like really hard, like beyond what we would have ever expected as well. But there was kind of a home time for you. Whereas if, for example, like there was something that me and Rachel hadn't finished,
Yeah.
like she's saying on a Friday night, I don't think that we ever went home before 2 o'clock in the morning.
No,
and
no.
then we would
Hell.
straight back be in by 8 o'clock the next morning. And you would just be in that perpetual absolute exhausted state.
And I think it's another thing that people don't see is like as you're trying to expand, like when you went to buy the industrial mixer that was £10,000, like you had to find the cash for that.
Yeah.
There wasn't any kind of like cash handed up for that.
No, I mean, and we're still in that position now. Like,
Or the
you know,
donut machine that
Oh,
never
that
got
donut
used.
machine that we spent $5,000 on and then never.
and then it was COVID and lockdown.
have we
It was-
got rid of that yet? Did we sell it?
If
Honestly,
anyone's in the
I think-
market
I
for a
think-
donut machine,
I actually think we sold it for like £200.
do you actually what you've just given me another word of affirmation saying you got lucky because I was like hardworking.
Yeah.
The same has to be said about Isabel as well.
Oh, God,
especially
yeah.
for her age. I mean, Isabel. I remember you'd be like, Isabel, can you organise the shelves? And she'd clean with the floor with a fucking toothbrush. Like she was
Oh, bless
really a
Isabel.
Trojan, wasn't
And
she?
do you know what though? It shows now though the fact that she left. How long ago? 3 years ago? Was it 4 years ago?
Yeah.
During
It was
COVID.
during COVID. So yeah, 3 years,
years
ago.
ago.
Opened opened her own shop, and I think she's done, like, let's say she's 24 now, maybe just 25.
Yeah.
I think, wow,
she deserves it though.
she's had a shop
absolutely.
for 2 or 3 or whatever years, and we'd only just opened at this age.
And this is actually something, a myth busting that we could say now.
Ooh.
So Isabel still messages you guys frequently. You still message each other and you're like, oh my God, yeah, crepes, you should have definitely do that and this, that. And there has been online people that are like, have you seen them both stealing one another's ideas? That's not the culture that's set with us and Isabel. That's us, me, still at the Finch Bakery.
Even if it wasn't something that we were happy with, which we were totally happy. She worked for us for 4 or 5 years.
She was great.
She was
well.
amazing.
Yeah.
She worked really, really hard. And in most industries, there is a stage, like, you know, for example, a hairdresser, you might get trained up somewhere, and then next thing you know, you're like, well, I want to open my own salon. It's completely
happens.
normal and a natural progression of somebody's career. So would I have been upset if she'd opened on the same street as us?
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, in circumstances like where we are making birthday cakes and biscuits and
not
cookies
meeting
and
demand
stuff,
at one point,
well,
like
yeah.
of that.
But then there's going to be customers for everybody. Like, at the end of the day, you know, you might shop somewhere one week, but it doesn't mean that you're absolutely loyal to that one particular place.
No, but then the point she was saying is that people saying that we like copy off each other. I mean, everyone gets what is it called? The inspiration from everywhere. And you know,
Pinterest,
in our
wherever,
industry,
yeah.
I suppose we feel that it's quite a friendly industry, as in like we'll tag love this from Enter Cake Shop here, and they do it to us, and like there's
like
no
something I
competition.
actually do have like always remembered about you guys is when people would speak to you about competition or competitors, etc., you would be like, there's enough business for everybody.
Oh,
there
God,
is.
we still like recommend people when somebody rings and says like, can you do a cake for me for next week? And we say, no, we're fully booked, but we do recommend X, Y, and Z. And even some people that we've not got on with in the past, like, you know, local cake shop makers that we've had a bit of beef with, whatever.
Yeah.
God, that sounds sad, doesn't it? A bit of beef. No, well, you know what I mean. But we've had a bit of confrontation.
Over nothing.
Confrontation about
probably,
nothing.
yeah.
But we recommend them as well, because I just think like, well, what is it to me recommending a different cake shop to make your cake that we can't make? Like,
Yeah,
you're
but
not
then
stealing
also
business off us.
we'll find that, you know, we've made someone's birthday cake for like every year for like 4 years, and then
Yeah.
one we'll see that they've gone somewhere else, and we don't question why. Well, we're a bit like, but then other people, which is really nice for us, but we've made cakes for people, and then they've started buying equipments off us, and then they've started making their own
that's
cakes, and then they're no
cute.
longer customers of ours, but then because through following us and like coming to the shop and whatever and like buying the equipment, they've then started some of them started their own businesses, and then some of them have just started making their own
And that's gorgeous,
I'm sure she won't mind us saying it, but guess Pamela Noel.
Yeah, Pamela Noel.
She makes
her own birthday cakes now. Anyway, sorry, that's her business.
Yes, she has.
As if I've forgotten about Pamela
Noel. Yeah.
And now she's the other.
I can't remember who else we had.
There was loads.
There was some frequent lives watchers, weren't there?
God, we
Yeah,
love
skip
them.
customers. Yeah,
Absolutely love
Oh
them.
God, the lives.
But yeah, well, we love that we have given inspiration to people to do things like that. And whether it's Isabel who used to work for us, or whether it's Pamela who used to be our customer but is now like she does it herself.
Or you that sometimes comes into the shop every 6 months to make a cake for somebody.
a family or friend.
There you go.
The baking community.
How
Yes.
gorgeous is
Yeah,
that?
The community.
And it's a nice hobby as well to have. Like, even if
of course
someone
it is.
doesn't necessarily want to do it as a career, how nice is it that you have that skill for
Yeah.
life, I suppose.
Absolutely.
Come and help us out when we need you.
Yeah.
Like she does sometimes.
Which sometimes
I do.
happens.
I'm just great at customer service. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I was never like the top artiste.
Yeah, you were really good. But you are good at customer service as well. We would often have this thing where we were like the Tessa and the Lauren and the Rachel show, where people would come into the shop and they'd be like, Lauren, Rachel, Tessa in the back, and Isabel, who didn't like the limelight, would she? She'd be like,
She does now, though.
Oh, she
She's
does,
very
definitely,
confident.
very. But at
she
the
was
time,
18.
I
Yeah,
know.
she was
I
probably
know.
like-
But at the time,
then
didn't, and we'd all bound into the front like, "Hi, everybody!"
Yeah. And they loved it.
They did.
But as much as we talking about the good times and the gorgeous community, we have to share some of the details about the times that we've fallen out in the back of that bakery, because now it's funny.
It is funny. I mean, like, we fall out anyway sometimes, but I
don't anymore.
But I
Not in
feel,
our adult life.
But I feel like because me and Rachel are twins, and I mean, obviously, I feel like most sisters feel this way anyway. We have grown up like really going at each other, as in like
Yeah.
biting each other as well. We actually discussed this,
Fighting and biting.
We actually used to bite each other until we were probably 18. So yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
Punching each other in the arm.
yeah, just stuff
Yeah.
like this. So when I am that close to somebody, all right, sorry, I'll just rewind a little bit. I remember being in Australia.
Is this a compliment?
Yeah, sorry. No, about 10 years ago when me and Rachel were traveling, I was traveling with one of Rachel's uni friends who
Who's
became
getting
my
married
friend.
on Sunday and I'm going in Wales.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I was traveling with her and I remember her saying one day, like, why do you talk to me like I'm Rachel? And I was like, oh shit. But it was because I got that close to her
That you
that
felt-
actually I felt comfortable enough
Enough.
to give a shit like that is to give a shit like I give to
speak to
Rachel.
her like-
yeah.
just speak to her like dirt.
And I was just like, honestly, like the fact that I'm speaking to you like this is a good thing.
Yeah.
She was like,
Lauren.
you can't say that. Anyway, I feel like
Yeah.
you're like that with me. Like I
Yeah.
feel like I can tell you how
I
it
actually
is.
feel like working in the bakery did actually give me a bit of a thicker skin because I
Yeah.
don't have that. I have sisters, but I certainly don't have that kind of like sister relationship.
Mm.
I've almost had like an only child-esque upbringing in some ways.
Yeah.
And I felt like sometimes like I'd never been like told about myself. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
in those instances. But then like just do one example, Breadgate.
Yeah.
God, what
And
was
also,
Brad
can I
get?
just say,
Oh.
can I just say it as well, Tessa? You are a Cancer.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So we have been commonly referred to as the Finch triplets.
We have.
Because, why is that though?
But
We all sound exactly the same.
they don't know.
No,
yeah, but the common person does not know that we share a birthday.
Oh yeah.
So
we have
that's
the
what I was gonna bring
exact
up.
Same
But
birthday.
But that's not why people think
Except
that we're...
The most perfect birthday in the world, the 30th of June, which
It's
is
exactly halfway.
slap bang in the middle of the year.
It is.
True.
But we're three Cancerians, back to
Yeah.
the zodiac, which I have obviously previously mentioned.
Yeah.
So imagine the emotions that flow between us.
I know.
Yes.
But yeah,
It's crazy.
the argument. Please, can we give some examples?
What was Breadgate? You'll have to tell me because I've tuned out from that.
Can I just say, your hair looks stunning.
Yeah, it does.
does,
It
yeah.
does.
Really
I
nice
thought
colour.
I thought you said you were never going to go blonde again. Do you remember about 5 or 6 years ago?
I didn't think it suited because
It
I'm a
does.
brown-eyed
This one
girl.
Really does, yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Love the nose ring. Love the nude lip too.
Yeah.
Affirmation.
Gorgeous.
Oh my god,
Yes.
affirmations. Yeah, but Breadgate, as if you
Okay.
don't remember.
Sorry,
Just a
wait,
mind.
sorry, she's just buttering you up so that when you tell the Breadgate
Breadgate.
story...
I don't remember it
Tone
myself.
it
I
down.
do
It was
remember.
me, I think. Was it me?
No, it wasn't.
No, it was all of us.
Right.
Right.
Oh.
So we
Is
were
it not
all
me that
tired and
ate?
snapped.
Oh, right,
Tensions were high.
Tensions were high. And what we used to do sometimes is one person would go and get the lunch and we'd all kind of like share. And one day we bought this tiger loaf, right?
Yeah, I do know.
And Isabel had gone to make herself a sandwich and she had honestly cut these 2 door wedges of bread. And then for some reason, one of you, I can't even
was
remember
me.
who it was,
It was me.
walked in like, do you not think it's random that you've eaten half the loaf of bread?
Yeah.
And then it was like you versus me and Isabel for some reason. And I was like,
Sorry, did you not end up scraping some of their...
no,
like, her
Isabel
chicken?
scraped her sandwich filling off and then tried to offer the bread back.
And I was...
And the bakery erupted.
Yeah.
It erupted.
I bet we could go back on some old WhatsApp conversations and find the exact
moment of
The
We
moment.
were
Because
often so tired and so whatever. Like it was like a fever dream.
It was
Yeah.
a little bit.
The Nutella spoon.
What about when
Yeah.
Rachel attacked me and there was stuff that went on the ceiling?
Sorry,
Was that
handbags
Nutella?
on the Nutella spoon.
was.
Yeah, you two were arguing and then you
No,
went,
it was the
fuck
baking-
off, and then threw the spoon and the Nutella splattered.
No, all right. Do you know
Was it
what
not
I'm
the
thinking
baking
of?
tray?
When Rachel attacked me. I can't remember what we were
hit
doing.
you in the back with a baking
and she hit
tray.
me in the back with a baking tray.
Oh,
And
sorry,
that-
handbags in the bin.
I can't remember that.
You two
Well,
put
so,
each
yeah.
other's handbags in the bin.
Yeah, because Lauren's handbag was a bin and had like random stray tampons
Sorry.
just roaming around the bottom, and then we fell
Not
out and I just
used
put
ones.
some more.
Not
Used ones, sorry.
Oh, God, I don't
Sorry,
know what's
just so
in
that
there.
You and me can connect with this because you and I mean, I don't really carry a handbag that much anymore, but when we used to come in with our big bags,
Those kitchen sink
oh my
bags.
God, and they had like old dirty socks in there, like just
knickers and
icing.
yeah.
There was
And
always
Rachel would be
icing.
like, you two are disgusting, and we'd
Yeah.
be like, so what?
And the
I feel like
bakery would
everyone on this
erupt.
podcast is going to agree with that. That is
Yeah,
disgusting.
but I
Would
mean,
never
we
be me.
are what we are.
I've got footage of me and Rachel were talking about when we were at uni the other day, and I was like, I'm not joking. My uni room was an absolute bomb
I
site.
think mine was as
Oh
well.
my
See the
God, I got
floor.
like my profile pictures from 2010. Oh my God,
Me.
someone want to roll back on that one. Oh my God, there's like me like posing between the...
There's one of me.
Between the
Tampons,
knickers
the dildo
and-
and the knickers.
There's one of me at
awful.
home in our old house, me in a fur coat, like sequins, and I'm not joking, there's like paper sleeper, shoes, and knickers all over the floor.
my God, yeah.
And it's my
Awful.
profile
The
picture.
online haters are going to go wild for that one.
No, I'm not
who
like that
cares?
anymore, but only because I
But-
have to be.
Yeah.
Speaking about the online haters, we're
Yes.
not going to give them any kind of like clout or name or whatever, but like we've all received our fair share.
Yeah.
And I actually have stopped reading it because it does affect my mental health sometimes. It
Okay.
does.
Yeah.
You don't seem as affected by it. And as you said to me recently, what do they want us to do? Get face transplants?
Yeah.
Because obviously they talk about like
Everything.
our
There's
looks.
one.
I once read a comment online about me that said that like I promote an unhealthy body image because I'm so grotesquely overweight or something like that.
Do you know what? I mean, at the end of the day, I have been open about this before. I don't read it. It doesn't bother me because I know it bothers me that it's there. But I personally think that if I started reading it, I would like kind of get into some sort of like rabbit hole about it. However, some of our staff members read it. Rachel reads it sometimes, like not all the time,
Yeah.
but as much as people, I don't know, want us to think that we're like constantly scrolling at it, I personally don't. But I
don't. I can't look at it.
do hear
I don't
from
care.
I do hear from other people about like what sort of things that they say, and the only thing that bothers me is about when maybe they speak about my children, my
'cause you
child
guys
in
get-
particular, one of my children in particular, and my parenting as well. Because to me, I just think you have absolutely no idea how I parent.
No.
And yeah, I don't know. Like it doesn't. I must have a thick skin because at the end of the day, like I literally think about all the things that people say about me, like disgusting things.
I mean,
and
don't
stuff,
get me wrong.
and
we're
it doesn't
all-
bother me.
We're all guilty of like, we see someone that we went to school with wearing like a horrible t-shirt or
Yeah.
something. But
Yeah.
I keep that to the confines of my WhatsApp group.
Yeah,
I'll be
definitely.
like, that
but then
t-shirt was random.
We've had this discussion before that these people
Don't have WhatsApp-
friends.
they don't have
to
WhatsApp
say
groups.
These
No,
things too,
but
which is
even if they
fine. Like
do,
whatever.
No, I do feel like even if they do have friends, there must be an element of it where it's sort of they think they're being quite risque in a sense of like they know that whoever they're speaking about might read that, and I think that gives them a little bit of a thrill. Like
Yeah.
rather than they don't have anybody to speak to, they don't have anyone to talk to, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It must do something knowing that that person might see it and be upset by it, and that to me is
were
Like
just
when
saying-
when people wrote about me that I'd like lied about going to university and I was this horrible, wretch. My mum actually read it and was
Yeah.
like desperately upset. And I sometimes think to myself, like, I hope that the people that make those comments are very much perfect themselves.
But then, do you know what I think as well? Like, the upset behind it, I suppose, is maybe thinking about like these people, and you're probably thinking, oh, they're 19, they're 20, they're 21, they're stick thin, they're really blonde, and they're gorgeous, and all that sort of things.
How
And
stereotypical, Lauren.
no, I just mean like people that might make
They're who we want to be.
well, that's what I mean. Like people that you might think that would make you feel a bit insecure about yourself, like the fact that we're in our 30s and, I'm not a size 6 and blah, blah, blah. But actually, the reality of it is it's probably not those people.
It's people just
It's,
like us, like just anyone. Like
Yeah.
it's just randomers on the internet. But what we
Yeah.
were saying before, off camera,
Yeah,
before
I'm sorry, but also like their mums themselves and their, I mean, making
Yeah.
comments about children, and to me that it just doesn't sit
It's
right
a bit,
for me. So.
it is hard, yeah.
What we were saying before off camera is that like actually Tessa has had direct messages before. Like, I've never had anyone message
No.
me like anonymously.
Oh yeah, I have had
saying
people
Yeah.
like literally slide into my
Sorry, I am
DMs.
lying. I had someone actually. I don't know if I should keep this in, but anyway, so what? Actually, it doesn't
Just
matter.
say it, and
Enough
if you
time
hate
has
it-
passed now.
Right.
Someone actually did message my personal account because I'd posted our online website or something when the Queen had died, and someone actually messaged me being like, "How dare you promote your business when our Queen's died?" And I just didn't really know what to say back because I thought every answer is going to be the wrong answer. Like people on social media are kind of like stayed quiet or whatever. And I thought, oh, okay. So I didn't actually, I started typing back and I thought anything I say is going to be wrong to this person.
Yeah.
But they did message me like they were a bit drunk. They were like, "Hey, honeys." Oh yeah. It was like, our Queen has just, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Well, I actually remember an Instagram thing that I shared that I paid absolutely no mind to blowing up. So I'd shared like these quotes that people put on. I actually did something last week saying don't share quotes. This could probably be why as well.
Yeah.
But mine had been like during COVID and it said, "I wish there was a waiver I could sign that says I know the risk, but I choose hugs and festivals and kisses and anyway."
Right.
Sorry, I can't frown because Botox, but
Right. So I'd shared this thing basically. It was
Yeah.
in the midst of COVID and I put like, I wish that there was something I could sign.
oh,
that would
sorry, I
say,
thought you shared that last week.
What do you mean?
She said last week on her podcast, if you actually listened to it,
I didn't listen. What was it? The second episode of Lives?
She tuned out.
She tuned out and she was like,
of Lives?
no,
David.
No, listen. On
Right.
the second episode of Lives, she did say...
I didn't listen to that one.
Right. Not a fan.
Not a fan.
Right. So she said
Tuning
on the second
out.
one, she's like, we know people who like post quotes when they've
And
split
it's
up with
cringe.
people, and it's cringe because then they get back together. So what she's
sorry,
saying
sorry.
is in COVID,
I shared
before she realised
Sorry.
it was cringe.
and I was like, I know the risk, but I choose hugs and festivals and good times and blah, blah, blah. And then I went into a pub for my mum's birthday where there wasn't any signal.
Okay.
And by the time I came out, I am not joking, I had 100 DMs. Like, I'll tell this to my friend who's dying. And I had not meant it in that way at all. I'd idly shared it, but it just shows, I hate actually saying this because it's like when you've got quite a few people that like follow you or listen to you or whatever, whether you've asked for that attention or not, you're expected to like be the perfect role model.
This is so weird because actually it did make me realise that I heard something or somebody said something on another podcast that I was possibly listening to. I can't remember who it was, but when you put yourself online in any context and it is a public forum, you are kind of expecting that everybody's going to applaud you.
Yeah.
They're not. Like, not everybody is going to like you. And it's really easy for us to be like, why don't these weirdos just unfollow us? Or why don't they just stop looking and stuff like that? And I just think, but then I suppose...
That's telling
We're
them what
putting
to do.
it out there.
We're putting it out there
Do
for
I
people
follow-
to see. So, I mean, I'm private on my Instagram and I have been for the
I
last
am now as well.
almost 3
I'm not.
years. Well, I am. And do you know what? And so
Whatever.
anything that anybody ever says about me, I suppose, or about my children or whatever, is only stuff that I have allowed them to see. I don't post
Or
absolutely
I've
everything.
posted.
Yeah, I know.
Which
yeah,
isn't a
that's the
lot,
thing.
to be fair.
That's
No,
fair.
it isn't. But then at the same time, like, I don't post that much of my life. So if anybody wants to say anything, I think you literally see 0.1% of my life. So make your opinion on...
That's fair, actually, because we are putting it out there. And I actually do agree. I've made blunders on social media. Of course I have. I was 23 when I first started working at the bakery. Like... We're bound to, aren't we? And we can only live and learn.
And things that were
What
acceptable.
what about that live when we went live a few years ago?
Yeah,
we were in Portugal.
we were like 30.
we were 29.
Can I
think.
just say as well,
that
like-
was an error, but it was funny.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. I'd stormed off. Do you remember?
I think I stormed off at
No,
one
I
point.
stormed off. I actually stormed off.
I was riding a blow-up crocodile, shouting my ex-boyfriend's name.
Sorry.
No knickers on.
Do you know what? I actually missed all of this because we'd had this argument around the pool. And if anyone remembers, I stood up, stormed off and thought, they'll be after me. They'll be coming. They'll be
And no
following.
one came.
And no one did.
Yeah.
And I went back to the room and I was absolutely steaming. And like, it seemed like no time had passed, but
all went for
several hours passed.
We
and
went
then
for a
you all
Chinese.
turned up.
We went for a Chinese.
And the first thing that I knew that they were back at the hotel is that suddenly they were live. And I was like on my own in the hotel room, like, what's going on? Like, where are they?
Yeah.
And you were like doing, you had no clothes on, you were screaming,
Yeah, we were
screaming
feral.
boys' names.
Yeah, feral before the
But
word
what-
feral
what-
was pop culture.
What I was just thinking before, but like we've shared things on Instagram and Facebook and stuff that was like, I don't want to say acceptable, but like, so a big thing that has recently come about was, no, it's not, God, it sounds like I'm being horrible here. Like my husband's allergic to nuts, but like, you know, there's been this massive thing about allergies over the last couple of years and we are so
Vigilant.
vigilant.
and obviously
for
we
it.
have all the allergens.
Oh God,
Yeah.
like we are so bad.
Prepackaged
And bear in mind,
things,
like,
yeah.
obviously we know how important it is. We've got customers who've got various allergies that are outside of the 14 allergens. Like I said, Ed's allergic to nuts, fish, everything like that. But I remember sharing something on Instagram, like Finch Bakery Instagram about 10 years ago. And it was like a little meme thing that it said something about like a group of children going trick or treating, and it was like, I want gluten free, I want blah blah blah, I want this, I want that, and it was just like a little funny thing, as if to say like the world's changed now because
Everyone's
everybody
got
wants
dietary
something.
requirements.
Yeah, something like that. And someone messaged. I mean, this was like going back 7 or 8 years ago, and they messaged like, I'm really offended by this because my child is allergic to X, Y, and Z. And do you know what?
You didn't even think about
I didn't
it.
even think
Yeah.
about it.
And when it comes up on Time Hop, go back on and delete.
Because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do think like people's perception of like what's funny and what's acceptable has
Yeah.
completely changed over
It
the last
has.
however many years. So things that you might have posted not 2 years ago, it isn't funny now.
No.
So
No.
that's something else that you've got to watch out for as well, because people like do a deep dive into your bloody Facebook and Instagram or Twitter or whatever.
Yeah.
I know,
and
yeah.
find
Me
stuff that-
deleting Twitter a couple of years ago because
Yeah,
I
I
had fucking
did.
like 30,000 tweets tweets on there about random shit. You know, like
Probably about your ex.
Yeah, probably. You know, when you update your Facebook status, like I actually said this to Lauren the other day in 2008. So I think it was the other day. I updated my Facebook status 5 times. It was like
in one day.
Yeah, is on the bus kiss.
Oh yeah, I used to put
Is
that.
in bed kiss.
Tessa
kiss.
is.
Yeah.
And something else we used
Song
to do
lyrics.
back in the day is like if you had beef with somebody, you used to call them out publicly. So I'd be like,
done that.
Tessa is ignoring her sister Jenny because she's a cow.
No,
kiss.
oh my God. Can
I
I
leave
just
all mine
say,
up unless they're
can I just say,
offensive.
not even that long ago. Right. So when I was in my late teens, I had a boyfriend who we'd gone out for quite a while, like maybe 18 months. And then we
So
split.
how long did you stalk him for afterwards?
Oh God,
5 years.
I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, officially,
Name
if I had
him.
no, absolutely not. So probably officially stalked him afterwards for 3 years, maybe, and then I met my husband, so it's absolutely fine. Like,
And then it was just a blend.
yeah.
But speaking of...
But what I was getting at is that we'd gone out for like 18 months, we'd split up for a few months, and then we got back together. But in that time, he had become friendly with somebody else.
So you were used
What
to
do you mean
Facebook status
friendly?
like...
I am not joking. I changed my Facebook status.
Oh my God.
Naming this girl like blah blah is a slag. Honest, I am dead. And do you know what? And can I just say, I hadn't even deleted it until maybe 2 years ago because it popped up on my time hop, and I thought, oh my God. And somebody who I went to school with who has got the same name had commented underneath it like, is this about me? And I saw it. I thought, I
can't even remember.
Sorry, do you know what?
I'll have
The
to
early
tell you another time.
noughties were the Wild West.
Oh my
They
God,
were.
I
Social
couldn't
media was
believe it.
new.
I couldn't believe it anyway.
But what I was going to
quickly
actually
deleted it.
move on to...
Yeah, because I mean, we're just staying on the same topic.
No, it's not like us. But like, we were talking about blunders and we've talked about the social media blunders, etc.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we haven't talked about our blunders in love. And if the bakery walls could talk,
I know, yeah.
they'd scream.
I mean, I don't really feel like I've got much to speak about because
No, but I feel like we were all each other's agony aunts.
Lauren's been with Ed for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So anything-
Sorry, maybe I'm referring more to myself. Like when you
Maybe,
sent me
yeah.
home ill
Chasing
because I was
every
crying
high.
so hard.
Yeah.
Over
So
there,
the
guy.
thing is though, like I feel like you always take your past experiences and that's what you then give as advice to your friends, even though you never took that in the past. So like,
Yeah.
but it's hard because any advice that I have to have as like my wisdom is from
It's expired now because you were like 20.
It is. That's what I mean. So like me and Ed have been together for 10 years and previous to that I did have several teenage boyfriends. Shout out.
And would get back with them all tomorrow.
God.
Let's talk about my first proper boyfriend, who I actually spent years in the bakery being like, I just wish we could clear the air. And now we have.
Yeah.
Shout out Luke Hall in Australia.
This is it.
Yeah.
How are you? Miss you. No, I'm joking.
When
But
did you last snog him?
Oh, when could that have been? Oh God,
Sorry,
I was throwing you under the bus 12 years ago.
No.
What? 13 years ago?
Last summer?
Yeah. God dreamed it. How does it? How does it feel living my dream?
No, it was just before. It was just before I'd got into a relationship and I saw him at a festival and, we got chatting and I was like, the past. You know me, I perpetually live in the past.
Oh, God,
I live in a
don't we
time
all?
I'm not in.
We're cancers.
Don't we all?
Yeah, I romanticize the future or the past or a season that I'm not in, and then as soon as I get to that place, I hate it.
Don't even get me started on burgundy scarves and
So
leaves.
I saw Luke at this festival and I was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we ended up getting into a bit of a chat and I was like, are you happy though? Yeah. And he was like, yeah. And I went, like obviously we went out when and I was like 17 to 19. I went, did you love me? And he just went, yeah, I really did. Yeah. And then we just like
passionately necked.
Sorry, was
I'm
the
not
word
even straight.
Yeah. No. Well, you were then. Yeah, you were
I was
then.
back in the day.
You were
yeah.
virgin on it, maybe.
I thought you didn't put labels on yourself anyway.
I'm not.
No, that's
I am
it.
what I am.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so Luke.
Yeah, Luke, shout out.
You
Don
send him-
Council, shout out.
Send them
Trigger.
this link. Send them all
Yeah.
this link.
I don't mind about naming some of my exes because it's jokes.
Yeah,
They
but I
might
feel
not
like-
want to be what name, so
No.
let's bleep them, Matt.
Yeah, let's bleep
them.
Come on.
It's not
Oh.
fair.
That's not fair on them. They're probably married. They're probably happily married with children.
On them. Some of them still message me.
Don't shout
No, I
those
won't
out
name
either.
them.
No,
But some of them
no.
still, reach out from time to time. And who can blame?
Yeah.
Because
Are you tempted?
I'm the one that got away. At least that's the delulu that I tell myself.
Right, so talking of like exes and being us.
Yeah.
What is the most psycho? I'm interviewing you now. Oh, is that not? Was that not
Take
part of
over.
it?
No, that's fine. What's the most psycho thing I've ever done?
Yeah, what is?
Really tricky one. After the most traumatic man one that you know about.
Okay.
Me thinking which, but go on.
When I'd meet up with his friends for coffee and pretend that I always did that. Yeah, like I'd be like, and then when he'd message me like, why are you meeting up with this person for coffee? And I'd be like, I always meet up with them for coffee. What are you on about? And actually I was just going and pretending to be their friend to get information.
I see these things on TikTok now where like, you know, where they put like chicken in the top of the cupboards and like they put glitter all in the drawers and like put, you know, you must have seen these. Like,
I must not be on Psycho X TikTok.
So like, where people
I'm not on Psycho Talk.
You've seen all this, where people put like grass seeds in the carpet and water them, and they'll put like glitter all in the drawers and all in their underwear.
Does it resonate?
Like, no, I just wish that I'd had these things like 10, 12 years ago.
Why? What's the most psycho thing
you've ever done?
Not stuff like that. For revenge, nothing, because obviously it was always the one that was
Have you ever like rifled through a boy's phone?
Oh my God, are you joking?
You don't know us at all.
No, not with Deck. No, would I fuck? But like, oh my God, are you joking? Like, leave it unlocked.
Turn up at a boy's house
every weekend. Things I've done, like, oh my God, logged onto their online phone bill. Gone
But you did find things though.
Of course I did.
And you were happy at that point in your relationship. How weird is that? She'd been with this guy for maybe a year and he was obsessed with her at the time, lol. And then she randomly just had this weird thought, but bear in mind it was 2009.
Cancer, we're meant to be psychic.
It was 2010.
It was 2010 and she logged on to his
online phone bill,
Tesco mobile or whatever, and seen the last number rang, and it was 10 minutes previous when he just left her house, and she rang it and a girl answered.
You just rang it?
Yeah, I did.
There was no WhatsApp back then to check the profile picture.
She blocked me on Facebook until very recently.
Yeah. But we'd never do any of this now.
No.
Now we're
but
stable.
I don't think I'd have the need to do this. I'm trying to think of anything. What have you done, Lauren? You've turned up at boys' houses and thrown stones at the window and the mum have come downstairs.
That did happen. I actually did do that.
See, I've never done anything that unhinged, I don't think. Mine
It's
was more...
unhinged.
I've done loads of things
Sorry,
like
I was just in love. What? Are you just...
I've done things like texted in the background and gone out and got steaming and turned up where they were in the club.
God, all the time. I remember one time specifically, an ex-boyfriend of mine had texted me being like, meet me after like at my house. And I was like, okay. So I got a taxi there and I don't know why, I just ended up going to the front door or not ringing him, and 15 of his friends were there and they literally just started abusing me. So me being me was like, he's told me to come, and he was there like, no, I didn't, and I was so embarrassed, but so much so that I was that pissed. I had no money to get home, so I literally just went and sat at the back door.
Sorry, can I just say this was also the ex-boyfriend that once Rachel, he probably cheated on her, then he turned it around and said that it was Rachel's fault. So we went round to collect Rachel's things.
I took all the clothes that I bought him out his wardrobe and sold them on eBay.
Yeah, good, as you should. I'd do that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And back then, all saints.
Yeah, he was.
Nothing would cheat. Nothing would cheat.
Fair enough. Right.
Yeah, well, sorry, you two have always been entrepreneurial, haven't you?
We have,
because of
that's
steals.
it.
There used to be this shop in Blackburn, I'm sure many people remember it, and it was a factory second shop.
There's one in Accrington now.
Oh, is there? But so it used to get
Yeah.
like things that weren't quite right, like missing a button or the stitching wasn't quite right, etc. from like Topshop, Miss 60, like, you know, like good high street shops, and you guys used to go and fish them out, mend them, and then sell them for full price.
We did, yeah. And that's how we funded our university.
Feralness.
And wine habits.
And
Lauren.
wine habit, yeah. Bull's Head, shout out.
But before we run out of time, I was...
is it that time already? Wowzers, trousers.
I can always gauge about...
Bloody hell.
So,
gotta feel like we've spoken about nothing. Go on.
Yeah, but also everything.
Yeah.
And this is what the people wanted. They want it real.
Did we miss anything off?
No, I was about to ask you a question that a follower sent in.
Oh, go on then. Yeah,
so
go
this
on.
is a fellow business owner that asked me to ask you this of you. So she has a business. It's an ice cream business actually in Bolton. You might actually follow them.
Can you say their name?
Yeah, Milkmaids.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be that.
Yeah. And she was like asking me if I can ask you, how did you level up your business? As in, she's got one shop and she's wanting to now level up.
Right.
See, I think we've answered this before.
And she was like, I would love it if you could ask the Finch twins.
Right. I'm going to be very honest.
Yeah.
The thing is, people always want what they can't have, e.g. they want to be bigger, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to come with success. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to make you do better. It just means that you've got more problems.
Right.
So for example, you've got one shop, it's doing really well, blah, 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 you're making a good amount of profit. You might open another one and that absolutely bombs.
It's in the wrong place, or
and then you've tied into a lease, or you've got the wrong members of staff, or something happens, X, Y, and Z. And the next thing you know, the profit that you're doing actually quite well with in your first shop has now not
halved.
It's halved. It's
you
not
spread thinner.
Well, no, not even that. I mean, like because you're still the same business, it's not like you're operating completely separately. So if you're absolutely losing, like not taking any money in your other shop, but you've still got your rent to pay, your staff to pay, etc., that profit from the first shop is actually now maybe next to nothing, or
it's not
in a
just
negative.
that as well. And again, we won't go into any specifics, but like you guys obviously have seen firsthand, the more staff that you get take on, the more politics goes on at work. People, there's a lot more to think about in terms of that.
But can I just say, going back to that one, that you're just giving a bit of a negative answer. There is obviously positives of doing other things. So instead of me and Lauren opening another branch, I suppose, and we've now bought a trailer so we can do different pop-ups. So like, again, we've had quite a lot going on over the last couple of weeks. In fact, we're at Rovers tonight. Forgot about that. But just one sec. So my point is, like, some of the pop-ups that we've been doing over the last couple of weeks that we've had high hopes for haven't as done as well as the ones that actually we didn't really have that
higher hope for.
Like littler one. Spat. Like smaller ones
have done better than our bigger ones.
There's a bigger one.
So it's hard.
I'm going negative now.
No, I just mean like it's really hard to put a positive spin on getting bigger, especially in things like Cosy Lives.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, people don't have the money to spend on stuff like cake, ice cream, etc. because it's a luxury.
It's a luxury.
It's not something that you necessarily need.
Yeah.
So it's really difficult to say like, grow now, because not everything works. Like, I mean, I'm not being funny, but not the reason why we keep doing different things and opening different things and putting more stuff on our website. It's not because we're doing, oh my God, we're selling so much stuff that we want to sell more. It's because sometimes our shops are quiet and sometimes our pop-ups are quiet and things like that. So we always have to be thinking of different ideas in how
that we didn't necessarily have to think of years ago.
No. And bear in mind, like we've taken on so many staff and they've all got a job. They're constantly always busy. But then actually at the end of the day, sometimes some things that they're doing aren't making us any money. And we would never turn around and say like, oh my God, we don't need you anymore, because that's just not the way that we we would rather change things so that they all have jobs, etc.
So maybe the answer is coming up with maybe smaller ideas and being a bit dynamic with how you go about
Definitely.
it. I'm sure Milkmaids Bolton won't mind the shout out either. She's lovely. She goes to my gym. Shout out.
And the thing is, like, when you're doing these like little small things, then you will be able to afford to do the next big step.
Yeah.
So for example, like Rachel
We're going
said,
off on a tangent
no,
here.
I'm just
she's
saying,
got another
like,
question, and I'm guessing that wasn't just
it's
one
okay.
question.
Sorry, I'm just saying, like, our trailer has just cost us like over £10,000. Like, that is a lot of money.
Yeah, I thought it was 5.
No, like
Tune in.
It's cost us like a lot of money to do, but you have to have that money or want to risk to spend that money for the investment to come back on you. So
well, actually, this is a really good way that I'm going to round up the podcast for tonight. Okay. Speaking of levelling up, this is obviously concluding season 1 of Lifestyles and Mental Health Dives.
Okay.
And I'm hoping to create a season 2. So if you'd like to sponsor an episode.
Are you talking to us or?
No.
The
camera I'm talking to. But if you two want to, that's great.
I thought that as well.
Possibly. Depends how our next pop-ups go.
If we can afford it.
Yeah, not sure.
Yeah, if you want to be featured, not them or whatever, then that'd be gorgeous as well. Speaking of leveling up businesses. But yeah, so it's been absolutely gorgeous having you on. I hope that all that jargon is going to make sense when we all watch it back.
I'm scared it's not going to.
I'm scared.
I feel like what he's going to have to do.
Let me tell you one thing. In my experience, because I'm now an experienced podcaster, I always leave, don't I? I'm looking at Matt, you can't see him. I always leave being like, oh God, it's a mess. And then when I look at it back, it's great.
It's funny. It all flows.
It flows.
What Matt might have to do is put it on like speed 0.5 so that actually everybody can kind of understand what
us.
we're saying.
The Finch triplets.
I don't think we're that bad. I don't.
But final myth bust. People thought that when I left the bakery, it was because we fell out. We can confirm.
We've never fallen out.
We fall out sometimes. Like, we give each other
We fall
shit.
out
but
over random shit, but not that.
No.
Yeah,
But,
no,
you know, it was all
never.
about myth busting, but I just wanted to get
This has been like us sitting on your sofa without cameras here.
Yeah, it
This is
has.
or what we do is when we're pissed, etc., and we just chat about our exes from teenage years.
Yeah, we
chat
repeat the
about
same
this.
stories
We talk and
90,000
talk and talk.
times.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. So it's been actually really natural.
Yeah.
It's
It's been
been
stunning.
normal for us.
But yes,
Maybe people will want us back for an episode 2 like they did with Liv.
maybe they will.
Possibly.
I am actually wanting to do an agony aunt episode where people send in their
Possibly
questions.
give my advice.
Kind
And
of
you
like,
just heard me. I'll get back with all of mine tomorrow.
what about Finch Fashions?
Oh, yeah, but it's
yes.
a bit of a facade, really, because actually I would not follow any of my own advice because, like I said before, I used to turn up at my ex-boyfriend's house and throw stones at the window. So,
Right.
yeah.
And on that
a
note-
year after we split up.
And on that note, thanks for tuning in.
Thanks.
It's been absolutely
not
stunning.
tuning out.
And not tuning out.
tuning
She did
out.
it. We got
That
it.
was stunning.
See you next season.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Stunning.